up. Seems like a long time ago, but good win on the road. Battled hard. Did some good things in that game. Got some things to clean up as always. We'll work to improve on those things. And I thought our guys in a 14-14 game in the third quarter made some big plays to step up and help our team have a chance to win. So I like how we finished out that game. And looking forward to playing Washington at the Link. What do you got, Ruben?
JG, how do you improve the right defense?
Ruben!
Oh, I see what you did there.
Ruben, I'm sorry.
I was
right,
looking
I don't
at
care.
John the other day, and it was like it got discombobulated in my mind. You guys
Don't
know
worry
I'm not
about
very
Shane.
smart. Go ahead, Ruben. Give it to me.
Well, I mean, obviously tackling hasn't been a strength of this defense. What's your concern level there? And you know, you're not on the field all that much. What can you do to get better?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you know, I believe in the players that we have, and when we've needed to, when we've made it an emphasis to improve that part of our game, we have. So I think it's really, there's points in certain games, in every game, and there's, you know, different times throughout the season, like that's just got to be on our mind, and we have to improve it, and we got to coach it better, and it's just consistency you're looking for with everything, not just the tackling, with covering and execution and situational ball. It's just being consistently sound and good at what we're doing. You know, I think too, like a lot of that in that last game, we knew that was a really good back. That's a challenge on a short week going down there, not to make an excuse because everyone has to do it, but I think getting back to a normal week of practice and going through our normal routine will help us with that part of our game. And you know, I talked about with the team, with the defense, there are some things that I could have done a little bit better to get us in some better spots to make some easier plays for our guys. So there's a couple calls in there that I didn't love, that I was kind of really honestly putting our guys at a disadvantage because I was thinking one thing and it wasn't happening, and that makes it hard for the players. So I think we'll all collectively work to improve that, and we'll get better at it.
Is it also any byproduct of scheme because there is more space at times to have to cover for these guys?
Cover for who, Jeff? I don't
If
understand.
you're playing, you know, to prevent the big play, is there more space underneath for guys to cover, and then therefore there'll be more missed tackles?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain times depending on the route that in the pass game you're talking about.
Just in general, tackling.
Yeah, like there's times in the pass game with different coverages we talk about its strength and stresses of each call.
Yeah.
Well, there's some calls that depending on the route you can be all alone one-on-one in space, you know, and it's tough, you know what I mean? But we got to get those plays down and we got to make those plays. Our guys know that. In the run game, you know, when you're thinking that you're going to get a shot play or here or there, and we're in a light box, obviously we have one less person in the box. If they run the ball, we got to rally to it and get a half a hat on the ball and win some one-on-ones and tackle the ball in space. You know, a lot of times like you set edges and build a wall in the line of scrimmage, well, you're one short, you know, so that's what I mean about the calls. So that's everything that we do. We'll try to continually improve. It doesn't matter the call. We got to be able to execute at a high level and play good defense.
It was a short week, so how do you think you guys handled not having Jordan, and does that affect you toggling back and forth between the 4 and the 5 man, or is it the short week and the absence?
Yeah, I thought the head coach did a really good job. We changed our short week schedule this year, and I really liked it. I think that should be the blueprint moving forward because I felt like we were ready to play mentally and physically. You know, when you go back, you guys know, when you go back in and out of certain groups by situations, first, second down, things like that, depending on what they're giving you, what personnel groups, the time of the game, what I'm thinking, what I think they're thinking, you know, it's a challenge for our guys to click in and out of those calls and execute them at a high level, which we've done a good job with, and we'll continue to do that. I think it's just, you know, knowing the stress and the strength of each call, and hopefully you're more right than wrong as far as when I'm calling something, what you're getting or what you're not getting.
John, how different does Washington's offense look with Heineke's compared to Wentz?
Yeah, a lot of the same things. I think, he presents a certain challenge because he can make, a lot of off-schedule plays. He doesn't have a lot of fear of throwing the ball into coverage, and he's got good skill guys around him, and he gives them chances to make plays on 50-50 balls, which you've seen him do as he's come back in a little bit. It's basically the same offense to me. It's just that, he can move around and make some off-schedule plays, which that presents a different challenge to us when we rush and when we cover. So we'll have a good plan ready to go, and we got to execute at a high level to give ourselves a chance to win the game.
Some of
About the running
CJ's
backs,
interceptions have been pretty tough catches this year. How much of that is natural ability to catch the ball, and how much work goes into it?
Well, I mean, they do. They catch a lot of balls. That's one of the things that our head coach does. Like, he makes guys that have the opportunity to catch balls, he makes them catch balls. So they go through the same catch circuit that the receivers do. And that's dictated by him, which is awesome. The DB coaches do an excellent job of when we throw ball drills. I love to throw ball drills because I'm an accurate passer. Well, you really don't want to throw accurate balls when you're throwing, just like that, shout out to myself. You really don't want to throw accurate balls all the times in practice, because a lot of times when you have the chance to take the ball away, it's not pitch and catch. You know what I mean? You saw the one, he's catching like this. The other one that, who was that against? The one night game from the center of the field. Who was that against? Dallas game. I mean, that was an unbelievable. It was right in front of me. He caught it an inch from the ground. You know what I mean? So that's a talented player that works on it every day with the coaches, and he's done a good job of capitalizing on some of those plays that he gets his hands on. That's a really good question. Our other guys have done a good job with that too. Slay, Bradbury, those guys have made Avante. Those guys have made some catches when the ball's around them, and that's why we're playing really good pass defense right now and taking the ball away at a high level, because they understand where to be, they understand where their opportunities are going to come, and they make some plays that if me and you were out there, we probably wouldn't make them. So it's been good. They're executing well, and we need to continue to do that.
You have a stretch of pretty good running backs, physical running backs coming up like Pierce did, and he put 139 up. Do you have to make any adjustments going from that light box to, now other teams say, hey, we can run on the Eagles?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a blend of, how I'm calling the game. That's what I'm talking about, what goes into that, because if the team's trying to pound you, you want to get another hat in the box, so you make sure that you're not checkmated by the number count. With saying that, that there's some give and take to that too in the pass game. So I think we'll continue to work on and improve when we are in a light box, how we can be a little bit better. And then when we're in post-close, to really knock those runs down a little bit quicker and not have some yardage that kind of, I always say, like, what doesn't show up on the stat sheet is a 3-yard run that goes for 6, because now it's 2nd and 4, not 2nd and 7. It's a whole different game calling the game like that. So our guys know that, and like I said, we'll work to continue to improve it.
Why the more dime?
Dave's previous question. Nick was saying the other day that there's a perception that you guys are lucky with turnovers, and luck has nothing to do with it. What makes you feel like this pace is sustainable if you do think so, and that there's not going to be a regression to the mean in that area?
Yeah, every game's different, depending on, how an offense likes to play. That goes into it. Do you get them into known pass a lot? Obviously, more passes, you're going to have a, higher opportunity to take the ball away. I kind of laugh at that. That's the first time I heard it's luck. We coach that, and we got players that take the ball away. There's nothing lucky about that, So now you do know that I always say takeaway coming in bunches. You might go a couple games, you might not have one, and then all of a sudden you have a takeaway explosion. But what we've done is consistently when we get I think that's the main thing, Zach, is when you do get your opportunities, do you capitalize on them? Where we dropped some last year and we had some chances. I think we're doing a good job of capitalizing on them. As long as you're capitalizing on your opportunities when you get them, because you don't know when they're going to come up, that stat should stay where it's at for us.
Is the more dime matching
question.
personnel, or is that just something that you like that package?
After you said put it in, I put it in, and we've been running it. No, that's that's a little bit game by game. We play different personnel groups on third down, on pass downs as well. And just for, what you saw, how we thought that they were going to attack us, that we thought that was some good calls that we could deploy from that group, and they executed it at a high level. And I don't, as the game's, I'm way past the game right now, so off the top of my head, I don't think we pressured once, and we sacked them a couple times and took the ball away a couple times, and I think we're pretty good on third down. So, we always have calls up like that, and our guys know, hey, I always tell them, like, we're going to start the game like this and then get to these calls. I'm going to mix the calls, or I'm going to, everything on the call sheet in this group, I'm going to unload it, and then go from there. So, and a little bit of that's feel and see what's working, and then certain down and distances go into play with that. So that's kind of, we set up, it goes to everything, Jeff. It's a good question. The game before Houston against Pittsburgh, we were going to get to it in the second half and really didn't need to it. So there's one snap of dime the whole game. That was Chauncey's sack. But, you just got to see how the game's going and the blend of that and who's got a hot hand and how they're playing us. You see a couple third downs, you say, okay, this is how they're trying to play us. And, what we set up those calls for, they really don't apply, or they do apply and you get to it. So.
Gene,
Two more questions, please.
How's Nakobe Dean doing behind the scenes?
Awesome.
And is there any thought about finding some packages, getting him involved?
Awesome. Yeah, we talk about that all the time with not just Nakobe, all our players, and I like where the, Kazir and TJ are at. I think they're playing well with each other. But Nakobe's ready to go, and I think I talked about that with Herbstreit. He asked about him, and I said, when Nakobe has to go in, I have no fret of him going in and functioning at a very high level. So he's behind the scenes. It's a good question. I mean, this guy improves every day, like all our guys. They take their reps to heart. They're trying to maximize their reps in practice. He's playing scout team as well, like all our twos do, which that's the head coach. I love how he sets up practice with ones versus twos. It's not just scout team. And they play our calls, so he's getting time on task into our calls with what we have up in the game plan. So when we need him, he'll be ready to go.
One of the things Chauncey, Nick was saying was Chauncey keeps plugging him to play wide receiver and everything. Do you find that, a really good defensive back has those wide receiver type of skills? Does that make them better, do you think? Especially with all those interceptions lately.
Yeah, he has good ball skills. I don't know if he's ready to go in and run a slant one-on-one on 3rd and 3 and win, but I think I'd rather have AJ do that. But they had Slay do it. You know what I mean? If they're going to take Chauncey for a third down, I'll take Devontae for a third down one time, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, you've been with a lot of organizations during your career in coaching. I'm wondering, now that you've been here a little while, what have you picked up on that maybe separates the Eagles from the other places that you've been?
That's a great question. That's why I love it here. The people in the top seats are 100% committed to winning. And who I mean by that is the owner, the GM, and the head coach. And when they're in lockstep to that, all they care about is day by day the process and winning football games, and not just short term but long term, you have a chance to do your job and do it well and win games. And I think a lot of people out there say, yeah, we want to win, we want to win, we want to win, but their actions don't really show that. The actions in this building with the Philadelphia Eagles, those three guys, their actions every day, they're committed to that. And that's why I love that. You couldn't have a better defensive coordinator chair than I have right now for those three guys and the players that we have. So love it here, and let's keep winning some games.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.